I just start off with any injury news, whether all your international players are now back and accounted for?
Yeah, everyone's back. Everyone's accounted for. Obviously, just literally came in this morning. So them boys of the latest ones have just arrived. Today, everyone's back. Everyone's healthy. So yeah, we'll make a clearer, or we'll have a clearer insight onto that tomorrow again.
You know what it's like as a player when you've made a mistake. You probably won a game 3 days later that you can rectify that mistake. 2 weeks is a long time for Ademola Lookman to wait to have to try to rectify that penalty against West Ham. How is he? Has he put it up to the back of his mind? And if you get a penalty in the first minute tomorrow, is Ademola taking it?
Well, I think to answer your first question, as you can imagine, I think Addy was bitterly disappointed, like we all was. I think there's no hiding from that in terms of initially after West Ham and the penalty miss. But like in most things in life, and certainly in football, you need to learn from them mistakes and have them conversations, which we have as well, and move on very quickly. Practice, get better, understand where, in this case, for instance, the processes and the decisions made, and see where we can improve. And like I said after the game, Addy's going to be vitally important for us this year. He's going to be a big player for us, which we're going to need. And I have no doubt what I've seen of him in such a short space of time with us is he's got that other bit to him, which he wants to get better, he wants to improve, and he spends a lot of time on his game. So I've seen that over the last 10 days. You'd expect me to say that, of course, but it's the reality and it's the truth. So yeah, regarding penalty takers, as always, we'll work out what the best way to go on that nearer to the game.
With Addy, as you said, you've had to do the old arm round the shoulder. Have you had to do the same with Mitro, having got back from the disappointment of Serbia not taking the Euros? Is he feeling low? Is that difficult for him to try to sort of get over?
Again, obviously, Mitro just come in today as well, so I've had a conversation with him. Of course, disappointed. Serbia not qualifying, obviously missing a penalty. So yeah, he's disappointed. But I suppose that the comment I just give regarding Addy probably refers back to Alex as well, really. So strong personality and mentality about you. You need to understand, certainly as a centre forward, and you're always putting yourself on offer. There's always opportunities that you're going to be highlighted, or the fine margins of success and failure are so little. And but again, what determines and how people react from that is most important. So again, look, I have no doubt that Alex comes in, albeit I've only seen him for a couple of hours this morning, but come the weekend, we'll be raring to go.
I've chatted to a couple of pals of mine who are Fulham fans, and they say that Mitro just doesn't quite look himself at the moment. I mean, how centre forwards thrive on confidence. Is it maybe just that he's a little bit low on confidence at the moment, and he needs to back them again and all that?
Could be, yeah, it could be. I don't. As always, I think people obviously judge a lot of things on goals. Certainly, when you're a centre forward, I think his last 2 performances, certainly in terms of a work ethic and what we need from him from the team, have been exceptional. But look, there's no denying. I'm sure if Mitro was sitting here, say exactly the same. That as a centre forward, like most of them, they really judge their overall performance on goals. And again, that's not quite happened for Mitro over the last few weeks. But like anything, I'm sure that's willing to turn, or it's going to turn in the near future.
One thing that has changed whilst you've been in the international break is the introduction of the 5 subs in the EFL. Obviously, that's still not the case in the Premier League. Where do you stand on the 5 subs debate? Would you like to see it in the Premier League?
Well, I think obviously it's been a topic what's been brought up. For sure, in my position and at our football club, 5 subs will probably not benefit us as much as obviously what it would do the top clubs. Top clubs, I know they play have got more fixtures, as in Champions League fixtures, but what comes with that being successful is bigger squads, more money to buy them players, obviously. And obviously the big one is the well-being, what's been brought up. So of course I do see that as well. I can only comment from my side and how I see it. And of course, while I sit here wanting to try and work out or not have a disadvantage by it, and for sure it will be a disadvantage for someone like us, and work out where we are. I also understand that there may be a case for well-being. There was a vote. We had a vote at the beginning of this season, and that vote was clearly in favour of free subs. And at this moment in time, we have enough data or other people in places what can look at whether 5 subs in Europe is being used, whether there is an incline in injuries or whether there is an issue with well-being in players. And of course, I think if that is the case and them studies or them numbers come out to suggest that, then of course I'll be the first to say, okay, I understand. If not, then we voted and this is where we are.
And just one final question from me, if you don't mind. Another debate that has been reignited since we last spoke to you is the debate about dementia in later life when you've headed the football a lot as a youth. Some people saying that kids shouldn't be heading the ball when they're learning to play the game. Do you have a particular view on that?
Again, really, I suppose I revert back to research and studies, and of course, if proven, or I know there is ongoing studies, ex-players and stuff like that, it is proven that, of course, that heading a ball can lead to serious illness or dementia later on in life. Then, yeah, totally understand why we would be doing that and put in place and protocols certainly to maybe adjust that. But until that is real concrete, then yeah, I think I wouldn't want to comment any further.
Thanks, Scott.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. We'll stay with broadcast. Could we please have Olivia, Premier League Productions?
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Olivia.
Your defence does seem to have tightened up in recent weeks. You've conceded 3 potentially to 1 and 2. Have you worked on that specifically, like a little bit more in training? And are you happy, with the improvement of defensive made?
We haven't worked on it any more than what we worked on it in the first 2 weeks of the season, or how we always work on it. I suppose time as always improves things. Of course, the work does, but have we made a conscious effort to work any more? We work constantly. We work with the back line constantly. I think, since the transfer window shut, players came in, and there's been a real understanding this is where we are. We have improved, but of course I put it down to the work, but I also put it down to just a little bit more extra time. That time, in a short space of time, we had a quick pre-season, a quick turnaround, and hopefully now that players are understanding a little bit more and understanding the league and what's needed from it.
I've just got a couple of questions on leadership. Frank Lampard contributed to a podcast talking about leadership management, and he described management as all-consuming, dealing with problems every day. Is that how you see it?
Sorry, Olivia, you broke up. Could you just say that one more time?
I said, so Frank Lampard did a podcast where he contributed to, and he described management as all-consuming and dealing with 50 problems a day. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, it probably is, to be honest with you. Yeah, of course, you're constantly dealing with many different issues. Obviously, clearly the players are 30 players and all come with egos, different traits, different mindsets. How you deal with each and every individually, one of them is very different. You've then got staff, you've got everything else that comes with it. So yeah, that's exactly how it is. No different to probably any other job in terms of management and in any walk of life. If you're in them positions, there's a lot of different facets to it, a lot of different angles in terms of what you have to manage at any given one moment. Decisions being made, however big or small, you're constantly amongst them conversations. So that's exactly how I see it as well, really.
And just one final question: what do you think is the most important trait when it comes to leadership and management?
Sorry, you broke up. Did you say what's the most important trait?
Yeah, when it comes to leadership and management.
Well, I think honesty. I think honesty is first and foremost value is, for me certainly, he's been very honest with people, understanding people. But I think, for me, people understanding that there's a real honesty about decisions or conversations. I think there's a lot, to pin one word is probably a little bit unfair, and there's loads of different, I think, different words or different traits certainly you need to be able to manage people, to manage players, to manage teams, and to manage football clubs at times. But certainly honesty is right up there.
Thank you, Scott. Good luck.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. Are there any more questions from broadcast? I think they're the only two calls we have. Jim from Press Association, I see your hand. Is this for the broadcast section?
Yeah, if I could just quickly check in with Scott. Hi, Scott. Yeah. Nice to see you. Just on some team news. Have you got any update on Lamina? Is he back in contention or?
He's been training for the last week, Mario. So week 10 days. Yeah. So I mean, look, he's a lot closer than what he was last time. Again, whether this game comes a bit too quick, not sure. But we'll make that call. Really, we'll see where we are coming in tomorrow morning after all internationals are back, and we can get a real full judgment on where we are. So we'll make a call then.
And what was his fitness issue? Again, was it a thigh problem?
Hamstring.
Hamstring.
That's
great. You mentioned about the guys coming back from international duty. There's been a lot of players obviously returning from around the world. Have you guys had any sort of issues with any COVID tests or waiting for those to come back?
No, all COVID tests have come back clear and negative. So we're fine. And there is no issues there regarding that, or no worries or concerns to me in terms of players not being selectable. So that's pleasing and it's reassuring.
And how do you view these next run of games? If you look down the list, they don't really get any easier in this division.
No, they don't. And the division we're in, I think we all understand that. We knew that at the outset. Certainly, I did, and us as a team, we understood the challenges we faced this year. And I think, like you say, the fixtures coming up are big ones, are tough ones, but I think after these 5 or 6, we'll go into another 5 or 6, and you'll ask me the same question. It'll be the same answer again. It's we're so far, I think, 8 games into this season, and we've had some real challenges and some tough games along the way. So I think that'll be the same story throughout the year. So exciting, looking forward to it. Big challenges bring, a real. Certainly for me and the team, is we have a big challenge in front of us, and we need to rise to that, and we need to embrace that really, and we're looking forward to that. So they come no bigger than the run of games we've been leading to.
And finally, for me, have you been surprised by how well Everton have adapted this season with Carlo? Or
not really. No, I mean, Carlo Ancelotti, he's an incredible coach who. CV and what he's done in the game as a manager speaks for itself. So I'm not surprised in any way that he's gone in and they're doing as well as they are. And likewise to their squad of players, really. Some fantastic football players. I think they've invested and bought very well in the summer, and they've strengthened them, and they've got a real good balance in terms of what they're about. So, I'm not surprised in any way, to be honest with you, because they've got a manager there who's world class, and they've got players in their team who are likewise as well.